What's up, everybody? I am Warriors NBC sports analyst, Festus Azili, and please like and subscribe to the Bay Area Sports Wrap.
Steph, when did you guys get word that Jimmy wouldn't be playing, and what changes? I mean, how'd you guys flip, move on from that quick to get out to the start you guys did tonight?
Literally, as coach was drawing up the play before the jump ball, I know it's a personal situation, but the good part is you don't really have time to react at that point. It's just Will steps in, just get our matchups and just try to, play sound basketball offensively so that we can, establish ourselves in the first quarter and give ourselves momentum and make our presence felt so you're not chasing, because you understand without Jimmy, you are a different team. And thankfully, we were able to do that early. And the plus minus of the second unit, Melt, Al, BP, Buddy coming in, playing some great minutes. It was by committee.
Steph, how rewarding was it to see Buddy get those first quarter minutes and the immediate impact that he made?
Yeah, he's been putting in work behind the scenes. You all see him during the games. He has such a good energy about him, lifting the team, talking, smiling, having a good time, even though things haven't gone his way. And, for him to get rewarded like that, but also be ready, it's a tough, ask, especially, again, not knowing Jimmy wasn't going to play until, 2 seconds before the game. He has to kind of rework his mind, to get ready, and he did that.
You seem to really like that three that he made right in front of your guys' bench, too.
Yeah, for sure. We love a shooter. It's a tough angle, tough shot, but that's what he does.
Steph, 3 straight games where at least 10 players from Warriors have made a three. What's working in terms of creating those open shots?
Proper spacing, keeping our turnovers low. So usually when you're doing that, even if some are tough looks, like guys get a rhythm and the morale of the offense is high the whole game. Confidence builds from that, and then you just make shots. And we have capable shooters all up and down the roster. To your point, though, it's how you create good looks that gets everybody involved. So it's a fun way to play, not knowing who's going to get it on any possession.
You guys led wire to wire this game. How much of a difference does that make for you to be able to get an extra breather, take some extra time on the bench, going into a tough road stretch ahead?
Yeah, we've had a couple games recently where starters haven't either not played the whole fourth quarter or, to your point, been able to get some rest the last parts of the game because we've had a significant lead. Our defense has been great. And, playing with a lead, executing early in the game so that you make it as easy as possible on yourself. You can withstand runs a little easier knowing, this is 2026 NBA and talent everywhere. So teams are going to get hot for, portions of the game. But when you look up and it's, a 6-point lead as opposed to, chasing the whole game, it's just a different vibe, and we've benefited from good starts. Even the Knicks game, we were down 17 in the first, but we came back relatively quick, so that the second half had a different kind of momentum to it.
How does it also feel playing against a younger guy like Concanipple, who obviously grew up, has a similar-ish play style, a lot of threes, I think the fastest rookie to 100 threes. How does it feel seeing that direct impact of your game on the younger players? Do you give him any advice, any other talking with that?
No, I haven't talked to him much, but just the way the game is going, I know I've had influence on that, but he's super talented. Like you said, it's a vision of what's possible in the league. Because when I was a rookie, I don't know how many attempts I had, but it wasn't anywhere close to what it is now. And he shoots it at a high clip too. So, you love that, belief in the young guys who put the work in and have developed an identity around shooting the ball at a high level, volume, and efficiency. So, the sky's the limit for him.
Thanks, Steph.
Steph, you've always been open about how cool it's been for you to follow in your dad's footsteps. After all these years, is there more of an appreciation about what you and Seth have accomplished on top of, your dad getting his jersey retired and being in this for so long as kind of the family business?
Yeah, the longevity of it all. Like when he played 16 years in the league, that sounded insane to me when I first got it to this level. I know for Seth the same, and now my 17th year. This is Seth's 13th, something like that. It's just crazy that I've eclipsed that. Seth is on his way. Just understanding what it takes to not only make it to this level, but establish yourself, create a legacy and longevity out of it. And it's even special just knowing he's still a part of an organization where I get to see him twice a year, and he gets to call games and try to stay as neutral as possible. When he's he called all the Seth's games last year, with Charlotte. So it's just cool to have that bond and still be able to talk basketball.
And Steph, when you look at the contribution that AnthonyMelton's made just recently, just talk about his presence, how he's been a spark, a catalyst for you guys off the bench. And, there's times when he ignites the offense, even if you're having a slow game in the beginning. Just talk about his presence. And then is this something you guys envisioned when you guys got him last year before he went down with his injury?
Yeah, it's exactly what we need and what we envision him, or how because he's contributed. Just the idea of he's just a gamer. Like, he can put the ball on the floor, he can create. He's knockdown shooter, and then what he does defensively, being a disruptor on the ball, playing passing lanes, just making winning plays. And his aggressiveness to score has helped us. No matter who he's out there with, because certain guys, me, Jimmy, are gonna get a lot of attention. Then if you're swinging it to the weak side and he's the one making the play, or he can even initiate and break people down off the dribble, just gives us a whole nother look. So to the point of what he was last year before the injury and how he's worked to get back healthy, and the difference he's made since he's been in the lineup has been amazing, and he's continued to get better. I think bumping his minutes up and looking stronger every day.
Steph, does it bother you in any way being guarded the way they did in a regular season game tonight?
There's a part of you that fights it just because it's not real basketball, but there's also a part of it is flattering. Just knowing that you demand that much attention, and also what it does to create shots for other guys on the floor. So, and I've seen it all, so I know if that's how they want to guard, like how I can be effective, not let it take me out of the game, but also kind of use it to our advantage as a team. And then it's also funny at times just how egregious it is. There's one possession I gotta find. I'm actually gonna get the footage. I actually stayed back in the backcourt a long time on purpose just to see how long Sion would stay with me. So that was a fun one.
Yeah, there's a clip of Colin Sexton covering you when you left the court.
Yeah, we both knew what we were doing there. We were having fun.
All right, last one over here.
Steph, not just 10 different players making a three in 3 straight games, but the team as a whole, 20 or more threes in the last 3 games. Is this the kind of shooting you guys think you can get regularly, or is this just a hot streak?
I mean, we shoot a lot of threes in general, but the type of threes, the ball moving, and then if you can do that on top of having low turnovers, that's just confidence building. You're going to have nights where you shoot it. Well, I think we've had a couple nights we've been close to 50%. We've had some nights where we've been in the low 30s, but you don't want to ride that emotional roller coaster. You kind of understand the type of offense that we play, the type of shots we're going to get, and on the whole, you'd hope that there'd be more nights like this. So I like where we're at.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, Steve, this is a third straight game with at least 23s, and a third one where at least 10 players have made a three, which I guess shows that it's not just one guy getting hot from behind the arc. What do you think the team is doing to create consistently these open looks that are allowing you guys to get these kind of numbers?
Well, we're taking care of the ball, and we're pushing the ball in transition. Our spacing is great, and with Melton and Al playing at the level they are, it just adds another dynamic to our game. Melt getting downhill to the rim, drawing help. Now the ball swings. People are getting open threes. So both those guys, I think, playing at such a high level has changed our team. The depth of our team right now is really our strength.
Going on to that depth, 8 guys scored in double figures for this game. What is that? How do you attribute that to? Is it the conditioning? Is it the training staff to have that many guys just constantly scoring?
Well, it's the roster. We've got a very deep team. We've got a lot of guys who can play, and we've been playing, a pretty big rotation now for a couple weeks. Obviously, Jimmy was a late scratch, so we slid Will up and played a 10-man rotation. But we've been playing an 11-man rotation the last couple weeks, and just trying to take advantage of, the number of good players we have, and a lot of those guys can really score on any given night.
Looking ahead to next game, you guys had a wire-to-wire victory. The Heat had a very tough win, last-second win against the Thunder. How does that kind of go into your mindset? Are you going to try and run them off because they're obviously going to be tired on a short week and traveling cross-country?
Well, we played Miami, 6 weeks ago or so in Miami. They run a pretty unique style, unique system, and they beat us down there. We know we have to stay in front of them. They're really an attacking team, and they're playing well. So as you said, we've got to be ready for them. But we're not going to change the way we play based on how they're playing. We're just going to do what we do.
Steve, have you talked at all to Jimmy since?
I have not talked to him, but I got word from Mike that everything is fine. He just had a personal thing that came up right before the game, but everything is fine.
Not expected to be anything long term?
I don't think so.
Did you expect to have Buddy as part of the rotation tonight, or was that a correlation?
No, he kind of slid in for Jimmy, just kind of the domino effect there.
Just how rewarding was it to see Buddy have the kind of impact that he had tonight?
It's great. He's one of the best teammates I've ever seen. Just the way he conducts himself, his energy, his joy, whether he's playing or not, his just the light that he brings to the locker room every day is infectious and powerful, and he's just an incredible guy to coach. So I was happy for him to, that he had that night, given that he's been out of the loop for a while.
What was Will's reaction when he found out he was in the starting lineup, and how did he sort of respond?
It honestly happened after they announced the starters, after Jimmy was announced, and somebody came up to me and told me he was out. And we just kind of looked around and, oh, there's Will. Let's start him. So, yeah, no plan. We didn't, it happened so late, we didn't really have time. But, Will has started a lot of games for us this year, early in the season. He connects a lot of lineups. He just seemed like the logical fit off the bat.
I kind of asked you this a little bit the other night, but, Melton again, 24 tonight. Is the scoring punch surprising you? Even in his 6 games last year, it was a lot of glue stuff. Right now, it's heavy scoring off the bench.
Yeah, he's always been capable. He's never been a huge scorer, but the speed, the athleticism, the shooting, he's always been very capable. And he had a game at OKC last year where I think he had 20 or something, and we won. And it was, they're obviously so talented, and the way he looked out there with his speed, matching up with their speed, he felt like the perfect fit. And then I think he was done, maybe the next game. I think he tore his ACL. And so we saw it last year, and I'm just so happy for him. He's really been out of the league for about 2 years, and so to see him having so much success after all the work he's put in, the rehab, it's fantastic. He's just an awesome guy. He's a great teammate. You pull for him, always ready for any role he's going to play, and it's just fun to see him, back in the groove.
Steve, you mentioned about the depth of this team and the way the bench has been scoring. I think they had 70 points tonight off the bench there. Do you feel like now this team's really starting to gel, even with the 10, 11-man rotation that you got going now with this team?
Yeah, we're in a good groove. We needed this homestand, and we've got 2 games left on the homestand, so we've got to keep it going. 2 tough teams coming in. But this is the most momentum we've had since we started out 4-1, and but it feels good. It feels like a lot of guys are really contributing, and we're really taking care of the ball night after night, and allowing ourselves to to get shots on goal over and over again. And when we do that, you see how much firepower we have. And so that's been the big shift. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it came on this homestand with lots of rest. And it's the first time we've felt really settled, I think, in a while. Great. Thanks.
That's before my time. Okay.
10 players with at least 1 3, third time you guys have done it in a row. What was sort of working from deep, and is that sort of sustainable, you think?
Yeah, they're kind of just leaving us open. They playing all 5 guys to take Steph out the game. So if you drove and kicked, everybody was shooting open threes, and it was great. We was able to knock them down, make them pay for playing gimmicky defense.
Draymond, you called Buddy one of your top 5 teammates of all time. What was it like to see him be rewarded and get that opportunity, make the impact that he made tonight? And what can it maybe show other players as far as always staying ready like that?
It's important to stay ready in this league. Your number isn't always called in this league. That's just the way that it is. Usually in this league, you got probably 6 to 7 guys that's number's going to be called no matter what. There's 8 other guys on the team and possibly 10. It's just the reality of what we do. It's a numbers game. But when you stay professional, when you stay locked in, continue to get your work in, and your number's called, you just want to always make sure you're ready for it. And, to Buddy's credit, he's been the exact same every day. Loud as hell, joking, smiling, walk in, energy fills the room. What's up to everybody? Nothing has changed for him. As much as he's been in the gym always, he's probably in the gym even more now, and so he stayed ready for the opportunity. And tonight, Jimmy going out the lineup right before the game, needed someone else to step up, and he did just that.
Will gets that start with Jimmy out. Just what do you think about how Will handled himself? I mean, it sounded like right before the game he was like, "All right, you're starting." Just what do you think of that?
No one knew. Literally, we were walking in the huddle to draw up the plays to go to tip off, and he said, "Will, you're in the starting lineup." And he responded. He was ready to go. He brought incredible energy. He's been like that all year. When his number's called, he brings energy to the floor, makes smart plays, smart winning plays. He was a game changer for us tonight. Must be the hair.
Dre, today you led the team in threes attempted and threes made. What about today that really just fell behind the arc?
Well, they put the big kid just in the middle of the paint. And so I want that big kid to know, you guard me like that, I'm going to shoot your face off. That's what we say. And so, yeah. Also, I mentioned after last game that their coach played this gimmicky defense, and I had to make them pay, because I've seen coaches get fired for playing that defense, and it just doesn't work. So I'm going to make that his reality if they play us enough. No, I'm just joking. I like Coach Lee. But But yeah, I mean, I have to find a way to keep the defense honest. You know, if I don't keep the defense honest, then that just allows them to load up on Steph even more. And it doesn't allow our offense to flow properly if I don't keep them honest. And so, you know, it was a little egregious. So I just had to let them fly. And it was good to hit 4 of 8.
Thank you. Also, you post-game interview described Al Horford as a Zaza Pachulia-type player on steroids. Can you extrapolate a little more?
Well, no, he's not Zaza type player. I was just more so talking about guys that when you're on the floor with them, for me, you know, I'm always everybody's eyes on the defensive end. I always try to be our best communicator on the defensive end. But in doing that, especially when I'm at the 5, I can't take as many chances because you have to anchor the defense. What I was explaining out there was more so when I'm out there with other anchors, guys that can anchor a defense, then it allows me to play free safety. You know, it allows me to go and muddy something up that a guy's trying to get to. It allows me to roam sometimes. You know, I can see a play and I can just act on it, as opposed to if I'm the 5 and I see the play, can't always just act on it, because if I act on it, who's now got the rim? When I'm in with a guy like Bogut, Zaza, Al, Loon, and they just read the play, and I go and they just slide right over and fill in, it changes my game from a defensive perspective for the better, you know, in my opinion. And so that's more so that I was playing that. But hell no, don't give Zaza that much credit. He's not Al.
Thank you, Joe.
No doubt.
How would you characterize the rhythm that Brandon is in right now?
He's playing really well. He is being aggressive. He's taking what the defense gives him, and he's pushing the tempo. And, you know, we always talk to him about pushing the pace. You come in the game, change the pace up for us. And when the shot's there, be aggressive and take those shots. Get downhill, look for your shot, look to make plays for other people. And he's really figuring it out. You know, he's settled into his role. And he's been tremendous for us off the bench over the last month. You know, he's been playing his best basketball of the season. So, you know, I always talk about it takes time to find the roles. And when also, no one ever talks about how other people missing can impact someone else. You know, and so you got Melt out, you got Al out. How does that impact other people? It does, you know, and so now you're just seeing those lineups come together more, which is allowing everyone individually to do what it is that they do best, and it's kind of been falling in place for us.
Draymond, you've always been a student of the history of the game. I'm curious, having played with Steph for as long as you have. Steph is Steph. Dell had a hell of a career. Seth has carved out his own niche, his own lane. What do you think the family's impact has been on the game, the greater game itself?
Well, I think, like you said, Steph is obviously Steph, but Dell is one of the pioneers. Like, he has that respect amongst everyone, not just like us, you know, or young guys. Like, you see Dell amongst the OGs, the respect is there, you know, and just how he went about his business, obviously how he played the game, and one of the originators of shooting that 3-ball like that, you know, and so he gets that respect as is deserved, and then obviously what he's passed down or given back to the game, you know, through his offspring, I think makes it all the more special. I always talk about what Pete Myers said to me, how you owe it to the game to leave it in a better place than you found it. That's another example of that. Like that quote doesn't just fit one thing, or, you know, that quote transcends over multiple different areas of what we do. And that's another example of that, right? Like your offspring and what he's taught them, how he's set them up to, like Steph has changed the game of basketball. That's a disciple of Steph Curry, you know, and so just what you've continued to give to the game, what he's continued to give to the game as one of the voices of our league on a nightly basis, like there's there's not many people that's been around the NBA as that long and continues to give to the game in different ways, and he's been that. I'm happy that I've gotten the opportunity to be teammates with his sons, both of them, because it's an honor. And so happy he's getting his jersey retired, well deserved. What he means to that organization, it's special to see him be rewarded for it.
Draymond, Steve talked about how the depth of this team has really been one of the successful, or one of the reasons why you guys have been successful lately. They get to within 3 points. I think it was 82-79. You guys go on a 20-7 run, kind of take back control of the game. And you have a guy like Melton who just is the spark and the catalyst of that. And just talk about his presence and what he's meant so far. And did you guys envision this even after when you guys had him last season for only 6 games?
Yes. Spoke about it before, just how our season went kind of way left when he got hurt last year. He was such a good fit, which is why he was one of our top choices this summer. Like, we immediately were trying to get him back here, because we knew the importance of his role and who he is, the basketball player he is, and what he would bring to this team. And he's been exactly that since he's gotten back from injury. So it's definitely what we expected. Do you expect a guy to be this good coming off that injury that fast? I don't know that that's the case, but he is exactly who we thought he was. And he's bringing that on a nightly basis, and it makes us a completely different team.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
No Jimmy to kind of help you guys out in that second unit. What sort of change without him in that second unit with you guys? Because it seemed like you guys were still able to score and everything.
Honestly, it wasn't too much of a change. We just stayed aggressive. With Jimmy, when he's out there, he always trying to instill in us confidence and, attack and be aggressive and everything like that. So without him out there, we just felt like we had to make up for that. So I think Paz did a great job today with just getting downhill, kicking the ball out, keeping the ball moving. And, Will stepped up always, and he went into the starting lineup right off rip. And, he had a great game. So stuff like that, it definitely helps us. Like I said, we got a deep roster, so we just got to continue to just keep fighting.
Hi, Anthony. Tell me about your production. You've been able to really be successful off the bench, scoring 20-plus points, 20-plus plus-minus in the limited number of minutes. So how are you able to have such success?
Just being confident. I think, it took me a little minute just to get used to, playing with the guys again. And like I said before, just getting used to just being out there and every day, different teams, different schemes. So I think now I'm just feeling more comfortable with just my body, with my shot, and just, my ability just to attack. And, the coach is doing a great job with me, just, showing me film and stuff in ways I can just be aggressive and just be, be successful. I'm trying to take those.
Mel, Draymond said that the Hornets sometimes played some what he called gimmicky defense, having the center just sit in the paint, and then Sexton was following Curry literally everywhere, including off the court. It's kind of, what did you think about the way the Hornets were trying to, play defense tonight?
That was crazy. They was denying bro when he was taking the ball out, you feel me? So they was denying him 98 feet. So games like this, everybody else got to step up and show, the threat that we can be when, you deny somebody like that, especially now you put everybody else on 4-on-4, and now you mess up rotations doing that type of stuff. And the way they was doing it, it was just, it wasn't no rhyme or reason. They was just we're stopping him tonight. And, other guys stepped up, and that's what we needed to do, because 30's going to get his, and he going to figure out ways to be, effective. But it's about everybody else doing their job too.
And then you scored, I think it was 13 in that third quarter. Just what did you like about, what was feeling good in that quarter, that closing stretch?
Man, everything. Everything, for real. I just felt like I can get to the basket at any point. I felt like, I can be aggressive and make something for my teammates. So that's what I try to do. And, you know, I just kept ending up at the basket, so I just kept shooting it. But I felt good. I felt good. My body felt good, and also I knew with no Jimmy, we had to make up some of those points, some of those rebounds, assists, all that stuff. So I just tried to stay on top of that, and I think, you know, myself and everybody else, I mean, we did such a good job with just, you know, making up for whatever we needed.
That end of the third quarter, LaMelo went for, I think, a tween. You stole it from him, went for a dunk, he fouled you, get 2 free throws. That was the loudest the crowd was the entire night. How does it feel for you to have just the Golden State Warriors fan base, Dub Nation behind you?
I mean, it felt amazing. It felt amazing, you know what I mean? And then once I got to the bench, Gary was just like, man, you in a flow state. I said something like that, man. So, I mean, it just felt so good just to, you know, be out there. I love to compete, you know what I mean? So when you compete and the crowd gets involved, I love it all. And, you know, that's the type of feel you want to have. And, you know, especially with nights like these, you know, giving their record and everything like that, you know, having a crowd involved and bringing that energy is huge for us, just to keep carrying on.
How much does this place starting to feel like a home for you?
Man, taking it day by day. But it definitely does, you know what I mean? I feel like last year it was such a weird but quick stint, but, you know, also at the same time showed a lot of love, and I felt the energy that, you know, everybody was giving me. But now I'm back, and, you know, I've played, you know, more games, so I'm feeling everything that, you know, made me come here last year is what I can say too.
We asked you a lot about your injury and your recovery, but did you think it would come together this quickly, like get back to this level? For me, yeah. Like, man, I wanted it all rip, but, like, you know what I mean? I wanted it from the jump. So, you know, after I went those first couple of games and I was going through that slump, I think everybody was just, you know, talking to me about giving myself grace and, you know, understanding that, you know, you spent 13 months out not playing NBA professional basketball. So I think once I, you know, started to realize that and just started to just play basketball, I think stuff started to flow a little bit better. And, you know, I wasn't making shots as much, but now I started to realize, like, you know, I can get to the basket a little bit more. I can get to the basket and kick out, find other players. So now that my shots rolling around, it just makes you so much more effective. And like I said, I just wanted it from the jump, and every day I just try to, you know, stack days and just try to get better. So I try to wash whatever has happened in the past. Like today, I mean, I love what happened today, but, you know, tomorrow, I mean, it's over, and then just worried about the next game.
Anthony, Steve talked about the depth of this team being one of the reasons why you guys have been successful recently in this 5-game win streak or whatever, 4-game win streak. You're one of the catalysts of the depth of this team coming off the bench, and like you did, leading the team tonight with 24 points. Are we really starting to finally see the true, like, talent of this team, the true Golden State Warriors right now?
Most definitely. I mean, I think a lot of these guys, I've seen them work throughout the summer and just through my process. So, I mean, I have ultimate confidence in everybody out there, and I think, you know, sometimes in this league, depth is underutilized, especially in an 82-game season. So I think everybody brings something to the table that provides winning. You know what I mean? I think that's the most important thing. Just, you know, whatever you can to win, and everything else will flow. Sometimes, you know, you start to make more shots. You start to, you know, rebound a little bit more, play a little bit better defense when you care about the main goal, which the main goal is the winning. And I think everybody on this roster cares and understands what it takes to win.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.